Crystal scammed out of money was her English professor, Irubi. He had 2 beautiful daughters and a lovely wife. Every evening when he arrived home from work, he staggered out of the car with a forced smile upon his lips as his teenage daughters eagerly greeted him at the door. The second man she scammed, it was a random guy she met online who had been married for nearly 30 years. Rob had one son who had graduated from law school and had just started a family. Considered as empty nesters, Rob and his wife now had nothing but time to realize perhaps they weren't meant to be after all. It all started her senior year of high school. Crystal's mom had just gotten a divorce and had to find a new place on her own since her father lost his job and couldn't offer much support. Crystal received a full scholarship to attend the private all-girls college. Her mom only needed to send money for food and toiletries.
Sweetie, I can't afford to send you an allowance every month. You're just gonna have to get a job.
Mom, this school has one of the best teaching programs in the country. A job will just distract me.
Well, what do you want me to do, Crystal, huh? You'll just have to figure this out on your own. Stop behaving like a spoiled brat.
Ugh!
Said Crystal, burying her face into the pillow. What was she gonna do? When her mom divorced, she moved Crystal to the worst part of town because they had nowhere else to go. Before the divorce, Crystal was receiving $1,000 a month on her prepaid Visa card. One of her best friends owned an entire lake, and now she had to leave all of that behind. She went online to check the balance on her card. Only $7.98? How was she going to survive with this? $7.98? Panicked and desperate for a better life, Crystal was determined to figure something out. For the first time ever, she wanted to prove to her mom she could take care of herself. Her mother always said she was more than just a pretty face. Crystal looked just like her mother. Caramel complexion, large hazel eyes with dark hair falling past her backside. By the time she was 5, many agents would stop her in the mall and try to sign her up, but her mom would always say, "Ever be a part of that lifestyle?" Crystal's mother knew that her daughter was special. When Crystal was just 11, her 6th grade teacher said she was finishing all of her work before other students and she'd be skipped a grade. When she turned 13, she scored so high on the SAT, they recommended she skip middle school altogether. But her mother flat out refused.
No child of mine will miss out on their high school experience.
So now, here she was, brains and beauty, holding a prepaid Visa card with only $7.98. She couldn't get a job. That would distract her from her studies. She needed a 4.0 GPA to get accepted into Harvard's Master Education program. What was she going to do? And this is how it all started. Her first victim, Professor Irubi, she learned about his taste for younger girls through gossip floating around campus. After slowly undressing her, he started kissing and licking her stomach while grabbing onto her waist. He kissed her inner thighs. The feeling of his cracked lips almost made her cringe, but she had to stick to the plan.
Are you almost done?
She asked, listening to the sound of his breathing intensify as he lifted her leg onto his shoulder.
I'm on the pill, so you can finish inside of me if you want.
I'm almost there,
he uttered, as the weight of his ashy, wrinkled hand almost enticed her to flee. Once the act was over, Crystal tightly pursed her lips and said,
Round 2 in a few weeks?
Sure. Lock the door behind you.
After about 8 weeks, Crystal texts Professor Irubi those dreadful words.
We need to talk.
Is everything okay?
Yeah, I just think this is something we should discuss in person.
I don't have time. Can you just tell me now?
Okay, my period is late.
What? But you said you were on the pill.
I know, but I mistakenly forgot to take them a few days. I'm sorry.
How could you be so careless?
Look, there's no way I can ask you to help me with this baby, being that you have a family and all.
You damn right. I can't leave my family for you.
I know, which is exactly the reason why I plan on getting an abortion. I just need help with the payment. It's $650.
Fine. Come by my office today and I'll give you the cash.
I'm really sorry about all this, Professor.
It's fine, but I think this should be our last encounter.
I understand.
And just like that, she had her own business. Her second victim, Rob, a man she met online, late 50s and recently retired, she knew he wouldn't be able to resist hooking up with the younger girl. It was like stealing candy from a baby.
Yeah, if you could give me $650 for the abortion, because I'm just a student and I don't have any money.
By the end of fall semester, Crystal had over $5,000. She sent some of the money home and was happy when her mom uttered the words she's always wanted to hear.
Crystal, this is the most independent I've ever seen you.
Crystal never knew whether she felt remorse for lying to these men. I mean, once the act was finished, she never once thought about how her actions made her feel about herself. It was as if she were pretending there were no risk involved, such as getting pregnant or catching a sexually transmitted disease. Better yet, what if she fell in love with one of them? If her mom ever found out, she would never be able to live with herself. She wanted to show her mom she could take care of herself. She only needed to save up enough where she could support herself for the rest of the year. Everything might have gone according to plan had she never met victim number 9, Michael Stanley. Michael Stanley was 56, married with 2 children, both in college. He had a thing for using online dating sites to hook up with young women. Of course, he always made it appear as if he wanted more, but once the mask fell off, his true nature was soon to be revealed. Michael caused his family so much pain and trouble, Mrs. Stanley had no choice but to take the kids and everything else with her, only marrying his wife because she was pregnant. The divorce didn't have much of an effect on him. 6'1", tall, athletic build, and kind eyes, it was easy for him to manipulate women and get whatever he wanted. Why should he have to change his lifestyle for just one woman? He felt as if men like him could never just be with one lady. And this is how it happened. On a rainy Tuesday, Crystal made her way to the hotel where they agreed to meet. When she entered the room, he grabbed a piece of ice and placed the cube between the lips of his mouth and unzipped her dress with his tongue. Then Michael placed the cube near her girl power. It was at this moment Crystal began feeling disgusted with herself for consistently going through with this. She knew that feigning pleasure would turn him on. He started kissing and licking her stomach while grabbing onto her waist. He kissed her inner thighs, and the feeling of his cracked lips made her cringe. The shape of his face, illuminated by the light, exposed more than just his flaws. His breathing intensified as he inserted himself into her.
I'm on the pill. You can release in me.
Oh, yeah?
He said, grabbing her hair as he yanked her onto all fours. She feigned interest and giggled nervously, but on the inside, she was beginning to feel disgusted with herself. Crystal couldn't get out of there fast enough once the whole thing was over. Just like the other victims, she waited about 8 weeks to make the call.
Michael, we need to talk.
Okay. Is everything all right?
Yeah, I just think this is something we should discuss in person.
Just tell me what it is.
Okay, so my period hasn't come in like over a week.
But you told me you were on the pill.
I know, so like I am, but I mistakenly missed a few days.
You don't seem like the kind of girl who would forget something like that.
Look, there's no way I can ask you to help me with this baby, being that you have a family and all. So that's why I'm getting an abortion. I just need help with the payment. It's $650.
Fine. Meet me at the same hotel as before and I'll give you the cash.
When Crystal arrived at the hotel, she was greeted by a box. What is this?
Go in the bathroom and pee on the stick.
Pee on the stick? So you don't believe me or something?
I guess we will find out now, won't we?
Michael shoved her so hard, she fell onto the ground. She got up and tried to run as fast as she could, but he grabbed her and covered her mouth.
Oh my God, please don't hurt me.
If you scream again, I'll shoot you,
he said, pulling a gun from his hand pocket. Crystal could barely stop her hands from quivering. She walked into the bathroom with the box, thinking maybe she had taken this whole thing too far.
Like, please, universe, just get me out of this one. And I promise I'll stop immediately.
She knew there was no way she could take the pregnancy test and produce positive results. She was way too smart to forget to take any of her birth control pills. And at this very moment, she believed Michael Stanley knew that too.
I just used the bathroom before I came, but I promised you I really am pregnant.
Don't you lie to me,
he said, striking her across the face with his gun.
I swear I'm not lying.
Suddenly, a torrent of blood came streaming from her nostrils as she started to choke on mouthfuls of black and red mucus. She could feel the blood sliding down her throat and lodge snugly around her trachea.
You were gonna scam me out of money, weren't you? Now you're gonna let me do whatever I want,
he said, pushing the gun into her back. He shoved her onto the bed. Tears began streaming down Crystal's face while her knees shook uncontrollably. Trying to get up from the bed, he grabbed her and twisted her arm. She was no match for his strength. She attempted to scratch away at his long locks, but he became more aggressive and began violently ripping the buttons off her shirt and pulled her jeans off. He soon began to slap, bite, punch, and throw Crystal around as if she were a rag doll. It seemed like it took forever to stop. She couldn't believe a human being could take so much pleasure in humiliating her like this. But was it any different from what she was doing? Of course, it had to be. She wasn't sure of anything anymore. Who had she become?
Empty your purse onto the bed.
Michael, you don't have to do this.
$60 came out.
I know you have more than this. Seems like you were pretty comfortable running this scam, weren't you?
Like, what do you mean?
Bring me $1,000 by next Friday.
What? Like, how am I supposed to come up with that kind of money?
Oh, sweetie, I know I'm not the only guy you've been running this scam on. Bring me the money or I'll make sure your secret is out of the bag.
Over the next few weeks, Crystal didn't leave her room. She passed the time by staring out of the window for hours, sometimes even forgetting to eat. But whenever she squinted hard enough, sometimes she felt as if she could see him standing there, staring back at her. She wanted to call the police, but she knew he would give details about her little operation. She didn't want to play this game anymore. She only had enough money to last her through sophomore year. But then, what would she do? She couldn't ask her mom for money. Her mom would think she were a burden, that she couldn't take care of herself. All of her hard work gone down the drain. Every time she used the online dating sites, all she could think about was meeting another victim like Stanley. The game was becoming more dangerous. She had to get out. What if she ran away? How would he ever find her? Would he find her? She would have to move back home. The following month, her mom called and said,
Crystal, are you okay? The school sent a letter home saying you have been placed on academic probation due to all of your absences.
Mom, everything is okay. Please don't worry.
I'm bringing you home with me now. Be outside with your bags in 2 hours. I'm on my way.
Mom, please, no, I can take care of myself.
When Crystal's mom drove up to the campus gate in her red Ford pickup truck, she could barely recognize her daughter. Crystal was so excited to go home and sleep in her old bed. She figured maybe she could take a year off of college and refresh her mind. When they pulled up to the driveway, Crystal's eyes widened with fear. Mom, who is that man standing in our driveway?
Oh, an advisor from your school, dear. His name is Michael Stanley?